Did kind of kick the
Hey
PC
guys.
again?
No, I did not kick the PC again. I am here. What's going on, guys?
Doing all right. How are you this evening?
I'm okay. I'm excited though. I'm looking at this thing, this goofy thing. So yeah, you guys will see that it is up on the screen if you guys want to follow along. If someone wants to post the link for me, the DDs and stuff. I just totally closed out of a window that I'm not exactly sure what I did. There it is. All right.
Share your screen in this mode.
Huh?
It's ridiculous you can't share your screen in this mode. Like it's like a classroom.
Yeah,
Like
it's.
out of all things, right?
It is so stupid. It is so
Yeah,
stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, that is the only gripe I have with Discord's stage right now. Like, you should be able to do your video chat and share screen. Like, it's. You can do it in the
sure.
regular voice chat, but.
They should even have a whiteboard feature too.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should we should just like
Yeah.
get a hold of him and be like, hey, excuse me, we need a whiteboard too. All right, guys. So I'll leave this up for just a little bit so you guys can kind of get the grasp of what we'll be discussing a little bit. While we wait for some people to come in. So yeah, I I got some work for you guys. I've been like over here cross-eyed almost, trying to get all these short sellers in here from Rogue, and I finally finished it. Like I just finished it, not even like 5 minutes ago.
Nice.
Like
It's quite the comprehensive map.
Well, what I've been trying to do is what I was trying to finish up right before I got on here was to show the ones that are together. I haven't finished it yet. Like this is halfway done. But yeah, so there's the surprise, guys. We're gonna go over that too.
Sweet.
Okay. Let's see. We got 9 on YouTube. We got 20 in chat. All right. So I'm also going to be trying to read chat. I'm trying to read chat on everything. So bear with me, guys, if I don't get to your question immediately. Just Alt F4 share instantly. No. I'm trying to get my nephew in, but he says everything is locked. What does he need to do to unlock the rooms? Hold on. Yeah, he should have just been able to
He needs to verify himself through the terms and conditions, I think, isn't it?
that and make sure. Yeah, did he react to the rules? Yeah. There's just a lot. So we have a lot of protection on the server just so that we make sure that it stays safe from the bots and everything.
And shills. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, guys. He said he clicked the check mark. Is there more than one? No, there shouldn't be more than one. Let me make sure that I don't have any. Let's see. Did he do the two-factor authentic? Can someone else say the damn word?
Authentication. Well, I know you're screwing me up. Authentication.
Yeah, that word.
On everybody.
It's a long day.
Oh, it has been a long day.
Going on Shark.
Pretty good. How is everybody doing?
Doing all right. Currently watching the next crypto sell-off.
Yeah, I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see anyone. I'm no longer allowed to say people are white anymore because my husband has officially started making fun of me for it. So now we're saying they're gray, because I keep saying there's no more white people. So you know, Freudian slips, I guess, whatever. It's
Yeah.
goofy. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything wrong with people verifying themselves. He should be able, like, I mean, it's gonna show that it's locked. He should be able to still get in here. Like, it just shows that they're locked, in the sense that you have to be verified and everything. So have him try to just like click on something and join in.
And
Yellow.
I was just going to say hello to everybody else who's joining us here. I see a couple familiar faces. We got Star Warrior, Reef, Rancor Rider. Rancor Rider, I don't know what it is about your profile picture, but I don't know, it's like etched itself into my mind.
All right, guys. So I think we have quite a few people in here already. So I need everybody to get ready and settle in because we are literally going through all 3 parts plus some. Okay. For those that don't know, this will be some interesting information. For those that have heard it, this will be a brush up. Maybe you'll catch something that you haven't heard before. And my team, I am sorry that you are now hearing this for the millionth time. I apologize. I should have done this
So,
so much sooner.
Kenna, did you want to maybe tell people like the new updates as well and kind of why we're progressing with all this?
If you want to, because I'm going to be talking for the next hour.
Yeah, fair enough. So, for anybody who's not familiar, we had a fair bit of updates come by in the last couple days, like 2 days really. We had all these like 13F filings that finally came through, which updated a lot of different positions. And I think it's helped solidify a lot of the research that Kenna and the rest of the team have been doing, it's now giving us a better idea of who's really involved and how much really. Would anybody want to add anything to that?
No, that's concise and clear for sure. Lots of things going on in the market, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we'll touch on all of them as we kind of move along here tonight.
Yeah, it's been a busy week.
Yeah.
It's been a very busy week. All right, so in my people in YouTube, if you do want to join in on the discussion, I did post the Discord link. So if you guys want to jump in here and participate in the Discord as well, you are more than welcome. All right, let's dive in, guys. All right, so eventually, I will say, by recommendation, I am going to be breaking this into its original 3 parts. Let me see if I can make this bigger. But yeah, it's going to be fit screen, stretch to screen. There we go. Okay. So we are going to be breaking it up into its original parts. So it will have part 1 map and then part 2 map, how it evolved, and then part 3 added into it. But then we are also going to keep the super ultra mega map. So because it's just really impressive when it's all put together. So I just wanted to let you guys know that will be a thing. Let me get chat up so I can make sure I'm keeping up. All right, here we go. So the mind map, the infinite loop, something that we've been talking about a bunch, is how money is being dispersed among the institutions, the financial institutions, right? And so throughout my findings, I was wanting to kind of see how this all got started in 2008. What are we seeing, the similarities and everything like that? And so this is where AIG came into play. AIG was the last big institution to be bailed out in 2008, and is why, where is the visual guideline for the trade talk stage? Oh, here you guys go. I thought someone posted the DD in there. Give me 1 sec, guys. We'll restart. Alright, so yeah. So guys, I'm going to post both part 1 and part 2 in the Trade Talk channel. So that you guys can kind of follow along. If you don't want to do it that way, you guys can always look at the YouTube. I am broadcasting this, guys, on YouTube, so you guys can actually see and follow along that way as well. So just know that this is all live, so any mess ups I do will be automatically recorded. All right. Here is part 2 and 3. All right, guys. So there is the 2 different DDs that I posted. So if you guys want to open those up, follow along on the map. If you want to control the map yourself, if you want to just follow along with me, come watch the YouTube. It'll be a lot easier. Okay, anyway. So AIG was the last one to get bailed out in 2008, which is why Lehman Brothers actually ended up going out, because it's kind of like a battle between the 2 entities to see who actually served a better purpose. And because AIG was more interconnected throughout the globe, the global economy, they found it more pertinent to save AIG over Lehman Brothers. And so I kind of wanted to dive in to see what was so special with AIG. They're an financial insurance agency, right? The American International Group. And so they do insure a lot of the global financial systems. And what I ended up finding out was all of these bubbles surrounding AIG are institutions that are invested into the AIG. The ones in purple, I'm still not really looking into. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking into them. Delaware, I still need to work on it. I've got sidetracked. I'm sorry. Wellington and Invesco popped up pretty early on during all of this, and so that's why they are red. Kind of just like as a flagger of, I need to really keep an eye on them and see what they're doing. We did end up finding that Invesco added additional ETF holdings into GameStop, so I did find that interesting, and that is thanks to Indian guy. Whatever he decides to call himself, Indian dude, Indian guy, you guys know him. So then you have the black bubbles. These are my big guys: Vanguard, Sun America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, BMO, T. Rowe Price, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs. And so what ended up happening is that, these were institutions that were pretty common in the 2008 crisis, and big names that I've been, we've all been seeing throughout all of this. And so I really got fascinated with them. We'll go through the banks first. So you have Morgan Stanley, which we will do lastly, but Morgan Stanley, they're with everybody, right? Goldman Sachs has the people with control ownership of Goldman Sachs would be, Vanguard, Berkshire Hathaway, State Street, Capital World Investors, Strategy IQ, and BlackRock. So these are like your 13 DG filings. And guys, as a thing here, it's mainly coming from Fintel information with 13F filings filed with the SEC is where I'm getting this information. Okay, I provide all the links on the map. You guys can click through the links and everything. It's just so you can see the backed up information. So that's Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan has BlackRock and Vanguard. Wells Fargo has BlackRock and Vanguard. They had Berkshire Hathaway, but they pieced out a little bit ago. And then you have BMO and Sun America. I'm not finding too much on to really emphasize any research on at the moment. But T. Rowe Price only popped up, and they really only caught my attention because they have so much control ownership into AIG. And so that's where I really wanted to kind of look into them, and come to find out they have actual control ownership of Morgan Stanley. So they did actually tie into this. So then you have my north and south points or whatever, and that's BlackRock and Vanguard. BlackRock, interesting, has Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, AIG, and then they have ETF investments, and it's quite a few. That's why they haven't been put in yet, guys, because it's all of them. It's almost all of Vanguard's ETFs they have investments in. And so then you go to the north side with Vanguard and Janus Henderson, Ameriprise. Those will come into play later. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. And then over here with almost 8% of BlackRock. So I thought that was pretty cool to find that Vanguard, while BlackRock has investments into Vanguard, Vanguard actually has a higher stake into BlackRock with a 13 DG filing. Any questions so far? I see Singrid. Are you able to enlarge the screen? What do you mean, am I able to enlarge the screen?
I think you have to kind of drag it around. There is a button in the, if you're on your own computer or on your phone, you can drag it around and make it bigger, just depending on what you're using.
Yeah. Hey Jeremy. Hey First Strike. Oh, First Strike's answering for me. Sorry guys. Jeremy, looks like a crime board. Yeah, pretty much. All right. So if nobody
A
has,
lot of suspects.
Jesus, the usual suspects though, right?
Okay, so really quick, kind of 1 second. So if you guys are using, if you look at the link that's on the trade chat, whoever's on Discord, Trade Talk chat, click on the bubble link, and then at the top left you'll see something. It says plus. Just click the plus, and it'll zoom in. You can zoom in as much as you want. You just need to make sure you drag your mouse to see which piece of the pie kind of talking about.
And you can also use your scroll wheel too.
Yep, either one. Just want to make sure you guys have that.
Yep. All right, cool. All right, so we're back to Morgan Stanley. Mind you, Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, they've been on my radar. They do some funny things no matter what happens. But so Morgan Stanley, it kind of became my infinite loop. This is when I first noticed it. And so we know that Vanguard and BlackRock both have big investments into Morgan Stanley, having control ownership. But Morgan Stanley also has investments into Vanguard and BlackRock. And if you click the link to the Russell 2000, it will pull up this fun little tidbit of information that Morgan Stanley, this is why we conclude the link, guys. This is live information, has now decreased as of 5/17, guys. This is fun. This is why I like my links. A new report, guys. 88.66% decrease ownership in the Russell 2000. So why this is substantial is that they had actually increased their holding in Vanguard 2000 in February. So this is why this just totally tripped me up. This is interesting. And it was by 688% or something like that. But yeah, they had actually increased their holdings in February, so the fact that they're decreasing it, I'm okay. Now we really got to keep an eye on this. This is exciting. Okay, cool. I'm super stoked now. This is me nerding out, guys. This is live me nerding out. So, all right, so we'll get back to what we were doing. Okay, so yeah, anyway, Morgan Stanley, as we see, has been playing around in the ETFs and everything in the Vanguard 2000s. And why that is so huge is that, sorry guys, we go presentation mode and it goes all wacky. Why that's prevalent is because AMC and GameStop are held in the Vanguard 2000, the Russell 2000s. And so you can kind of see where that money, the infinite loop of money, is starting to go through. Why is it exciting that they decrease shares? So that means they might be seeing a fluctuation in Vanguard, and they're trying to kind of take some profits from it if it decides to go down. Because you figure, guys, if and this is a theory, this is only my opinion, not anything based on anything but my readings and guesses. They're going to be starting to cover the ETFs, and after they cover, they'll probably be cashing out assets, these people with pensions and other investment firms and everything. And so eventually those ETFs will go down. And so they're probably seeing kind of that blood in the water, and they're trying to at least take some profit, because they they increased it drastically in February. And so the 88%, that's nothing. It's a very minuscule amount from what they increased their position in back in February. It's very minuscule. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think. Let me, before I actually say that definitively, I'm going to look into it. I will definitely give you guys an update on that. But I that's why I think they're doing it, is just to kind of take profits, because there might be something going on with it. So I will say, I'll say it with that. There's something going on. There's something going on. So I have to really look into it. Of course they would do that. Of course this would happen as soon as I'm trying to record all this. Anyway, so Morgan Stanley is also in control ownership of AMC, along with Citadel, .72, Ameriprise, told you we'd get back to them, and Janus Henderson. As we know, a lot of these are also controlled ownership by Vanguard. So there's more infinite loops. These places are invested into AMC as well as Vanguard. They kind of get a kickback from their investments and everything. So it's just money funneling just through each other. So then there's 3 connection points with Vanguard, BlackRock, and Dimensional Fund. Dimensional Fund is actually had a very large, I'm gonna have to go look at this now, stake in AMC and GME when I was originally looking into this. And so you'll also see the interesting AIG is control ownership of GameStop, along with Ryan Cohen, Capital World Investors, State Street, and then we have Scion Asset Management. We are pretty much thinking that they still have their 13DG filing, and this is Dr. Burry's Scion, and so that's pretty cool. But 13Fs are gone. 13Fs they've been gone for a while. So that's why he's just kind of in a weird color, because I get conflicting information between Bloomberg, Whale Watch, and Vintel and everything, because that's one I've really been trying to figure out for certain. So then we are into the big kahuna over here of the fireworks. Okay, so if you scroll all the way to the right of the map, if you're following along with me on your own map, you'll see these 3 fireworks over here. These are the ETFs. So this little fun section is how me and Indian Guy became friends. And we, back in February, started looking at totally different times, just happened, to see the fact that charts were moving the same way. We didn't understand why, and collected data in totally different ways. But I had started talking about the ETFs and them sharing ETFs, and he had come to me and said, I found the same thing, and this is why we are friends and how we became friends. So back then, GameStop was in 63 ETFs, and AMC was in 35. They shared 21. To this day, they still share 21, but GameStop is now in 72 ETFs, and AMC is in 27. Let me see if I'm remembering. 28. Sorry, I'm wrong. 28. They just changed recently, so I'm sorry, I misspoke. And so the ETFs, why they are important. One, with the infinite loop, right? The AMC, GME, other stocks. If you don't know what an ETF is, it's a collection of stocks within a single portfolio. This can be held by, owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, SoFi, just various institutions. And so it basically collects all these different companies' shares into a single portfolio and basically traded together, right? So you own basically fractional shares of these companies. And so, and my team, please correct me if I'm wrong, because my brain is so fried at this point with all of this. Anyway, these ETFs, why they're important. They can be shorted. They can be manipulated and rise and fall just like any other regular stock. The interesting thing with this is the 21 ETFs that AMC and GME are in also hold tech. Isn't today the deadline to buy back ETFs short? I'm not 100% sure on that question, Duck. And so the price movement that we saw back in February, March, April, where the charts just kept looking the same, right? They went along with Apple, Tesla, Amazon, all of these big tech companies, right? And so I had to start really looking into it. And I found that the Russell 2000s, the Vanguards, the SoFi, the ones that they all sit in were actually being shorted. So your IWM, IWN, VB, VBR, SoFi, and whatnot. So like they were all actually being very heavily shorted, regardless to the cost that it is to short said ETFs. So that's a big factor into why we see very similar price action along with like algorithmic trading and everything. You can almost go to, like, if you see GameStop and AMC moving at the exact same time, you can almost go to any tech, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, any of these, and kind of see the same price movement. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, that is, and we can also see like whenever they're shorting it and everything, they will go through the ETFs as well. So while we might see like AMC and GME, you know, oh, there's enough shares to short or whatever, go check out the ETFs. Like it's a very big key in this whole puzzle that we're seeing. So that's something I really want to bring awareness to. And it's not always just the computers. Yes, they trade with computers. The algorithm is, you know, they can write it the same way and everything, but we also need to be looking into that section. So that is the wrap up of part 1. Do I have questions over it? Does my team want to add anything? Because I know this is your favorite part of it all.
No, you're doing a great job, Kenna.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree.
Okay. So, we will continue. I'm sorry. I'm still baffled at the decrease. I'm going to look that up tonight. I'm going to figure that out tonight for you guys, and we'll do that live because it's bugging me now. All right, on to part 2. If everyone can stretch a little bit, whatnots. All right, so part 2, and this is part of what I've been working on tonight, and I cannot thank Rogue enough. He really found a very giant piece in my puzzle when he tweeted out the shorters, right? I couldn't find them, and my brain did not even think to go into that part of Fentel to even look at it. So, you know, this is the biggest shout out to him for finding the biggest part of part 2. And that was the bearish side of this. Okay. So not only are you guys getting the original part 2, but you're getting the new part, the part that I've been working on, still working on. So here's its premiere. So we have what we know, Citadel. And Citadel has now completely obliterated some of this map because they sold Apex to another company, because I'm guessing they needed the liquidity for that. They needed the cash. And so originally I have Citadel with the Apex brokers and broker and dealers that use Apex for their clearinghouse. So we have Public, Wealthsimple, Ally, SoFi, and First Trade, M1 Finance. Like, I'm just kind of reading a few of them off. Webull. And so you have all of these companies that used Apex as their clearinghouse, which was also owned by Citadel. Fun little fact. So that's now null and void. Have to redo that. Thank you, Citadel. Pain in my butt, I promise you. So anyway, Citadel also has a 13 DA filing for Susquehanna, and they own 4.3% of them. And as we know, Sus is also up there with GameStop as a control ownership. So they're a fun one. Citadel also has not only shares, they own shares in Vanguard and BlackRock. They also have call and put options on them as well. So they have definitely gone and somehow hedged themselves against their competitors. So that's interesting, which I could not find. And I'm trying to keep this on a daily check to see if Vanguard and BlackRock have anything with Citadel, and I'm not finding anything yet. So fun little tidbit of information. So we also come down here to the institutional short sellers. I am not going to read every one of these off. I am sorry, there's too many of them. But if you zoom out a little bit, here is literally all of the short sellers that we are facing. Guys, when I kept telling you that there wasn't just one hedge fund shorting the stock, this is what I meant. This is what I was talking about. It's not just one institution going to be floating the bill. It's literally a crap ton of them. There's 40, I think there's like 43, 44 for AMC. And then you have like 78 for GameStop. I have put in blue the ones that have closed their position. That is what you'll see right here. And so, you know, JP Morgan, we know that they closed theirs and they actually went long on their investments instead. And then we have up here, nothing, Jay Goldman. That's the only one that really kind of, Golden State. These two are the only ones that really kind of stuck out to me that I knew. But here's my fun one. Melvin Capital has not closed out their position as of yet. There was nothing that indicated that they've closed out their position of 6 million puts on GameStop. So there is that. Someone is holding that, and I can't figure out who, but they were still listed with the SEC with a 13F filing that they had a put on GameStop. A substantial. Can we get a link to Kenneth's stream, please? Thank you guys. Thank you. All right. So, but you also have sus. You have JP Morgan somewhere in here with GameStop. 2 Sigma. There's two Sigmas. I don't know if you guys knew that one. Yeah, there's the other 2 Sigma. Jane Street. There's Nomura. Like, there are so many names that I recognized on here. It baffled me. And so so what I'm doing down here are the ones that match, the ones that are together. So we have Bank of America, Bank of Montreal, Apollo, Barclay, Cohen and Company, Citigroup, like a lot of these different institutions. This is why I said I don't say any institution is good or bad, on our side or not on our side. I say good side and bad side because based on what I know at the moment, right? And so right now, I have no idea what the heck they are doing because this is getting deeper and deeper and deeper the further along I go, because this feeds into the other part of part 2. Okay. I had somebody on Reddit ask me about Bank of America. Bank of America has a 13F filing for Citadel, 0.72, BlackRock, and Vanguard. They have 13 GA filings, Berkshire Hathaway, Vanguard, BlackRock, which means these 3 institutions have control ownership of Bank of America, Berkshire Hathaway having over 1 billion shares, which is kind of insane. Charles Schwab has purchased... has 13F filing, with GameStop and AMC, BlackRock and Vanguard. Vanguard and, Bank of, they're connected there. I mean, this is a mess, guys. This is an absolute mess. JP Morgan has 13F filings, 0.72, BlackRock, Vanguard, Citadel, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has 72, sus, Citadel, Vanguard, BlackRock. BlackRock. BlackRock's down here with Deutsche. So Deutsche has a DA filing with BlackRock and this C Quadrat. Like, I have no idea what this is, guys. I have not looked into it, but if someone else knows, please let me know. But Deutsche also has a 13F with Citadel for 304,000 shares. So, I mean, while there are companies invested into through 13F filings with Citadel, there's not a lot of backing that I did find. I I could be wrong on this. I'm still digging around, guys. And now that I have completely enlisted the team, we're all going to be digging. So there's more eyes on this. So just be aware of that. We will uncover what we can. So with that being said, that is the bearish side. Where the backing of Citadel comes from, who else is with them in shorting games. This is literally just shorting GameStop and AMC. I did include the links that Rogue had mentioned in his tweet. So if you guys want to look at those and kind of look into more of that, you can, because that's what we are here about, is providing you the information where we find it, right? Just to kind of make sure we can keep ourselves honest. And if we mess up, we mess up, and you guys can point it out and say, sorry guys, you guys can be like, so I think you read this wrong. And guys, we are imperfect beings. We are human. We can mess up 100%. But I do want to put that out there, that if you guys find something that we missed, or, you guys think are incorrect, let us know, please. So are there any questions about part 2? No? No one? Bueller? Okie dokie. All right. So now let's get away from the stock market and let's go into the real estate, because this is what I'm sure everybody wants to know about, is the real estate bubbles. Welcome back to 2008, guys. Here we go. CDOs.
Can I, there is somebody who would like to speak before hopping in, I think, with the real estate, if you wanted it.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go.
Okay. I'm trying to allow him to do it. No? Was it psych? I don't know, somebody. Well, if they come back, I guess they can ask their question. Sorry, guys.
No worries. Amazing. Follow the money. The time that is put into this, amazing. More eyes need to see this. Yes, we are trying, Kurtz. We are trying. It's been on Reddit. It's being seen. And this is why we are now recording this, because I think I have now said a lot of this at least a few dozen times. So now we can actually point people to the video, and I can kind of save my vocal cords now. So anyway, all right, so on to the real estate. Guys, there's 2 bubbles in my opinion. 3-ish. Okay, so CDOs. We know CDOs from 2008. This is what they created. Synthetics. They shorted it. They got bunches of money, right? We know the story. If you don't, go watch The Big Short. It does a way better job of explaining it and way more entertaining than me talking about it. So just go watch the movie. But anyway, so on the mind map, there, and I will put the link to this mind map into this video's channel stuff description, so that you guys can kind of go through and really read it, because I'm not going to read through all these bubbles. This is my husband's section. He did a phenomenal job really getting into every bubble, the little definitions and details that he wanted to portray in this. So you guys, it's definitely worth a look, but I will kind of go through it with you to the best of my ability. So CDO, and this is where he started. This is where his task was to find if the CDO still existed, because they are supposed to be gone. And so he looked at the 04-06 housing bubble peak, and the home ownership rate was at 69.2%. They had increased loan incentives, interest rates in 17 consecutive meetings, 1 to 6.25%. Fannie Mae was purchasing subprime securities. An abrupt halt to a housing boom due to the market correction. Median sale price at $223,100. And then it went to $283,000. So we are starting to see a lot of that same stuff happening, right? So then he wanted to look at what the subprime loans were. Now, interesting thing with these The red ones no longer allowed. These don't exist. Ninja, CISA, no, you cannot get these. Siva, Neva, and Nina, while very, very difficult to get, you can get them. You just have to kind of go through unsavory brokers and, well, you just kind of have to, do what you think is right at this point. So, but you can get them. I'm not going to show you where, but you can get them. I have found them online. So this plays into the Dodd-Frank Act. So the Dodd-Frank Act of 2010, banks are required to come up with plans for a quick shutdown if they approach bankruptcy or run out of money. Financial institutions must increase the amount of money they hold in reserve to account for potential future slumps. Every bank with more than $50 billion of assets must take an annual stress test, which we've been seeing, guys. We've been seeing these stress tests quite a bit lately, given by the Federal Reserve, which can help determine if the institution could survive a financial crisis. And so this is where it gets really interesting. I will share a piece that one of our teams shared earlier today that they are increasing, what is it, the amount that they have to hold or something for their clearinghouses. Someone, if you want to correct me on that, but they are increasing something because they failed their stress test. Anyway.
You had in mind the inclusions of it was OCC 0004.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I can quickly cover this if you don't mind.
Yeah, it fits right in with this because it was the 17th that they sent it out and they had to have it covered. They had to have enough liquidity by 9:00 this morning. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, it was 9:00 Central Time.
Yeah.
So the overall concept was that there was a liquidity check, and as they had worded it within the document, is that they apparently had made a miscalculation or they had used the wrong the wrong term. I forget the exact wording that they used there, but essentially that they had to make a correction and they had to increase the total volume. This is about $584 million, if I'm not mistaken, which is broken amongst all the different participants that they have. So in reality, when you break it amongst that many people, it's not a massive amount, but it's still significant enough to, show that there is some sort of issues and concerns on the back end of what might be going on. The second half of that, though, was a little bit more interesting, which is the fact that they are preparing in a little bit more of a reactionary fashion, that if the market starts getting through or starts going through some pretty significant stress, that they have the ability to increase their requirements at any time. This is a pretty significant aspect of this. So they basically are covering their ass so that they don't have to be the ones that are liable at the very end of all this.
Yeah, I found that very interesting given everything that's going on right now. All right, so and thank you for clearing that up. The Financial Stability Oversight Council, FSOC, identifies risks that affect the financial industry and keeps large banks in check. The CFPB protects consumers from the corrupt business practice of banks. This agency works with bank regulators to stop risky lending and other practices that could hurt American consumers. It also oversees credit and debit agencies as well as certain payday and consumer loans. The Office of Credit Ratings ensures the agency provides reliable credit ratings to those they evaluate. A whistleblower provision in the law encourages anyone with information about violations to report it to the government for financial reward. So it's kind of what we're seeing right now, guys, with all the whistleblowers and everything as well. All right. Like they tried. They tried to make it as fair as possible, but people just do shitty things. Let's just say that. All right. So then you have the Volcker Rule. The Volcker Rule forbids banks from making certain investments with their own accounts. For example, banks can't invest, own, or sponsor any proprietary trading operations or hedge funds for their own profit, with some exemptions. There's always a loophole, right? So that is the Dodd-Frank Act. This is what was supposed to protect the market in respects to unsavory investing, right? Basically what had crashed the market in 08 10 and everything. So then we find ourselves with the BTO. We know BTO started about 2013, 2015, right? These became the new CDO. And what my husband has now found, it's not really the mortgages, the regular mortgages. It is actually the rental market, the rentals, right? Because income property doesn't actually follow the same rules as the Dodd-Frank Act. The bespoke tranche opportunity, a BTO, is also what is called a single tranche CDO. January 2015, by Goldman Sachs, in an email from an employee at an investment bank, a tranche of a bespoke portfolio of credits can overexposure to diversified risk with the possibility of leverage, credit enhancement, and enhanced returns. It's the exact same thing, guys. BTO is created according to the preference of the investor as opposed to a CDO that is created by a bank and then sold on the market. This circumvents a part of the regulation set by government around the world. Before the crisis, these kind of CDOs were called synthetic CDOs. The underlying asset in BTOs are derivative, not asset-backed securities, as was the case with most CDOs. This causes the value of the BTOs to not directly be linked to the performance of the real economy as most bonds would be, but rather to the rating of the rating agencies. All right, I guess I'm reading all these. And the best and worst part of these new BTO investments for offloading bankers' everyday risks, they aren't subject to the watered-down regulations of the Dodd-Frank Act. That targeted the CDOs that caused the Wall Street disaster. And there's all these links, guys. Like you can go read all these articles. There's just not enough room to put all of the information. So then we go to Blackstone. And for those that don't know, Blackstone is pretty much brothers with BlackRock. They're buddies, right? So Blackstone selling the first ever single family rental securitization, a $479 million bond offered in 2013. So they were the first ones to kind of do these BTOs. And those that don't know, Blackstone, BlackRock, they were the ones to buy up a lot of the foreclosure market back in 2008 and 10. So they had a bunch of properties that they rented out or just held on to or whatever. They were the ones that kind of came in and bought them all up. So go figure. Rental-backed securities. The sale will be closely watched by bankers, hedge funds, and private equity firms with a belief that strong demand for the bond could give birth to a new asset class and provide a fresh source of capital to finance the purchases of foreclosed homes in the U.S. Blackstone or BlackRock. Larry Fink's BlackRock started as part of Blackstone. Business would become BlackRock under the umbrella of Schwartzman's firm in 1988. They used to be called Blackstone Financial. They started in business together. We put up the initial capital. Schwartzman started Blackstone 3 years earlier in 1985. So why is this all relevant? Okay, Kenna, shut up. Stop reading bubbles. Why is this relevant? With COVID, with the pandemic, with all of these different regulations saying you don't have to pay your rent, you don't have to do this, we're just going to give you money to pay your mortgage. People weren't paying their rent. People weren't paying their mortgages. Okay. The rental market is just a building bubble where if people don't pay, now that you're going to have big evictions, the landlords, these mom and pops aren't going to be able to afford the mortgage now that all these mortgages and rental payments are coming due. So that increases the amount of people evicted, right? And with that leaves more houses possibly going up for foreclosure because people can't pay it. Some of these companies can't keep their assets and everything because they might not be able to afford them as well because increased taxes. And also the next bubble we touch on is the insurance. A lot of things go up every year. So, if people aren't paying their rent, usually you have to say goodbye to that house. So we could see a nice bubble forming with the eviction crisis that could potentially hit, worldwide. This isn't just the States, guys. These bubbles are pretty much everywhere. It's an everything bubble globally. right? Like almost every country has some type of bubble in this sense in their financial sector and everything. So the housing insurance bubble, this one is what applies to everything, right? This is your corporate, your retail, your residential. This is everybody. And so this is something I'm really trying to still work on and getting statistics and everything, because the idea is that it's climate change affected zip codes, meaning places hit by hurricanes. So your Gulf Coast, your Atlantic Coast, places with wildfires, your West Coast, Central West area, Nevada, Utah, everywhere that's hit by fires, floodplains, tornadoes, places that are hit very hard by climate change storms, could definitely see a big increase in their insurance, which they're stating anywhere from 20 to 41% increase for just this year. For instance, Wall Street Journal reported that in Miami, someone's premium went from like $4,000 or so up to like $9,000, and that was like the cheapest. So, almost doubling your premiums, which, okay, so why is that substantial? For those that don't own homes, most people take out the maximum that they can afford. So that puts them kind of on a shoestring budget, right? That's the max that, they got approved for. And so if your premium goes up, that makes your monthly housing payment go up along with increased taxes. And you find people that are no longer able to make their housing payment without, putting other things off, or they, pay the other things and kind of just push their housing payment off. And so, it can actually cause quite the catastrophic bubble in that sector too, with foreclosures. So yeah, there's those two bubbles, plus you add in the commercial real estate, which I do work closely with a lot of commercial realtors, and the commercial real estate's getting the same kind of idea, as well as lady went to a restaurant and they're kind of, they got talking and they found out the same information, that costs to have a business open, just on the building itself, your real estate side of it is getting expensive. And so we could potentially actually see a lot of companies go under just due to the fact that they can't afford their rent payments, their loan payments, or whatever they're paying on, because these different factors into the economy. So that is part 1, extension of 2, and part 3. Does anybody have questions, comments, concerns? I can leave this up if you guys want to reference anything on it on the YouTube or anything like that. I am all ears. Whether you want to use voice, you can come in here and ask questions that way, or through chat on YouTube or Discord. I am available. Thank you for listening to all of the craziness going on.
Thank you very much, Kenna, for putting that together.
Not a problem.
Really good. Ken, I just wanted one thing also to regarding Melvin Capital. They've actually exited all their put positions.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, they're filing today or yesterday. They removed it, but that doesn't mean that they're still not short, right? Because they're not required to publicly report their short position. But their put positions, they have none reserved.
Oh,
And I want to add to the fact that they've declared that they've closed out all of their short positions now on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah.
Right. So
that means they haven't.
We don't. Yeah. So I mean, like, their word might be worth absolutely nothing.
So okay. So I guess my question for you guys. So okay, obviously we know Fintel. Take with a grain of salt, guys. Take with a grain of salt, and I do. So because it showed that they increased it by like a few 100,000 shares.
600,000 shares. It was 5.4 million shares.
Yeah.
And then they increased it by 600,000. This was at the end of last year. But when they updated Q1 filings came in, I looked at it. As of last week, last Friday actually, or last Thursday when I looked at it, it was showing still that they had not exited their position.
And that's what because I just looked at it today, because that's why I was saying like it was. I'm here.
I don't think Fintel updated, but Will Wisdom
Will
showing
Wisdom.
it.
So something worth noting as well, guys, is that they can file with the SEC and they could choose to not disclose information in their 13F. And it's up to the SEC's discretion to approve that. Right. So they denied it the last time they attempted that, which was for Q4. I have no idea what the result was for this time around.
The public short sale data and information, they have to disclose that. But if they have any traditional short sale positions, that's the kicker. They don't have to show you anything in that realm. So it's very much possible that they might still have it, but anything that's reported in the SEC with the 13F, it is confirmed that they have closed out all their short/put positions on GameStop.
So I guess I'm glad I kept that as a funny little color. I'm gonna be keeping my eye on them.
For sure. And then Ani and I were looking, and it looks like in AMC world, Vanguard is increased their stake to 34 million shares.
Nice.
37.4 million. They're the highest holder right now in AMC. Second is BlackRock.
What a surprise.
$382 million worth Vanguard, and then $279 million worth BlackRock, 1 and 2.
And I'm assuming that was probably the share offering. That's where majority of those shares went.
So that's so the 43 million possibly went to both of those actually, because BlackRock had 9 million, they went to 27, so that's 18 million shares increase there. Vanguard had around 8 million or something.
I think so.
8 million or so, I think Vanguard had. So a big portion of it, of the 43, has gone actually to both Vanguard and BlackRock. Surprise. This is a good thing.
Yes. So at the time before the updated, Vanguard had 7.6 million, and then BlackRock had 5.9 million. So that's quite the increase. Quite.
So it's also that so they might have used portion of the offering, plus they might have just gone and bought a bunch on the open market.
No, that too. Sing.
I don't know.
It makes me bullish.
Makes me bullish. In response to YouTube, I don't know if you guys would really want me for president. Like, it would be way too much of a laid-back country that I fear for our actual safety. Like, let's just put it that way.
Maybe the United States needs that a little bit.
We want to go 2 a.m. So if we want to do that.
What'd you say?
I said we won't sleep till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And we won't wake up till about midday at least, or at least 2 p.m.
Is that a problem? I mean...
No, it's just the world will be in a different timeline. Like, everything's going to be happening we're going to be night owls.
Yes.
All the time.
100%. And Monk, I'm actually using my podcast mic for this, so you guys get the special mic.
I think we have a question. I don't know if you got to it. So do you think hedge funds could keep kicking this can down the road, waiting to be bailed out and stop the squeeze from happening?
Oh Lord.
I could fill in on that one too.
I'll take a stab at it. We'll see how the team thinks. So, yes, that's the short answer. They can. Unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. Like, they can kick this can very, very, very far down the road. And you can thank Lovely Greenspan for that, because he showed back in 87 that, well, hey, our financial sec, they'll be bailed out. So they're probably hopefully not counting on that. But yeah, they can kick the can, guys. Like, I hate to break it to you. This could be, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 months, it could be 5 years. At this point, we don't know. We really just don't know.
It's basically, guys, when it comes down to it's strip bonds and treasury bonds and the bills that are being printed at an unprecedented rate right now. That's why you're seeing the massive inflation, the American dollar. Is that machine is continuing to go burr at a 0% interest rate. That means pretty much infinite liquidity for banks and in turn hedge funds as well too. So yes, they can kick this down the road, but if interest rates are going up and the machine starts churning down or slowing down that print, that's when you can start seeing some liquidity issues and some problems in over leveraged positions at that point. So we just got to keep an eye on it, really, the bonds and the interest rates and what the Fed's really doing right now.
Man, what is the timeline for the housing bubble to burst? Oh God. I'm looking, and this is all speculation. I want that to be reiterated so many times. Q3, Q4 is where we could see some movement in it. I would think, just kind of based on the rules, laws, and everything that are starting to take effect, because people aren't being just handed money for rent and their mortgages. Like they're having to start paying those, right? Like those randoms are coming to an end, or have come to an end. So I'm looking at Q3, Q4 optimistically on it taking a little bit longer, Q1 of next year. But definitely I want you guys to have your eyes on it, because you can actually see it already forming. So a little backstory on us, my husband and I. He is a realtor here in Florida, and so this is what he does. This is his sector, right? And you usually want a 6-month supply of housing on the market. So basically all the houses on the market, like that are listed right now for sale, if no other house went for sale, should last you about 6 months for people to buy. Unfortunately right now we are at a 1.5 to 2 months. And so that is what's causing all these like bidding wars. So you see like the house up in Michigan that was like 800,000 went for 1.2. And this is carrying on all kinds of places. And so that's concerning. Interest rates are starting to kind of creep up a little bit more. And like I said, the insurance rates are going up. So there's just a lot of different factors going into it right now. So yeah, Q3, Q4, optimistically Q1. I could be totally wrong, and someone out there is hopefully listening and trying to figure out how to prevent all of this. But we also have Canada in their bubble and UK in their bubble. So, the housing market around the world is just kind of waiting for that one little small pinprick to do its thing. Maybe not, but Janet Yellen definitely has to watch out for competition for Secretary of the Treasury. Oh Lord, no! Guys, like I like my simple life. I really do.
If you do become the Secretary of the Treasury, Kenna, can you please get rid of the penny and the dollar bill? They're literally the most ridiculous pieces of currency that the Americans have right now.
It costs so much to make a penny and a dollar.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
The dollar's not even worth how much it costs to print the damn thing.
Canada, we eliminated pennies like I think like 6, 7 longer years ago. And then same with our, we used to have a $2 bill and a $1 bill, and we got rid of those forever ago. So we have the loonie, which is
with
ridiculous.
The loonie and the
dollar coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the toonie has nothing to do with the loonie. They called the loonie because there's a loon actually on the coin. And then just Canadians being Canadians decided to call the $2 coin a toonie, even though there's like a polar bear on it, So, yeah.
I actually still have a couple loonie and toonies from my time up in Canada. I'm talking like these are like 10-year coins. So oh my God, and you guys have like monopoly money. At least ours is plain, so you're like, yeah, just take it. But like, I'm sorry, Canadian money.
You just don't know how rich you are. Like you literally can go into your pocket and you're like, well, fucking loaded. It's all just $1 bills. You're just like, oh, never mind. And it all looks the same, So at least in Canada, we do have different color codings, and we also have like that polyamor cash now, so it actually can't like get wet and tear and stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's just too much fun. Like I don't want to spend Canadian because I'm just like, look at all the rainbow. Like
Monopoly money.
we do need it. Oh, I mean, so I will say, and then like your guys' currency, like the actual paper currency, like I guess it is because of the anti-tearing wetness thing. Like ours, you're just like, here, let me rip this. Like your guys' is like, it's weird. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's some pictures of the $20 bill.
Yeah, so here's the funny thing, right? So this meme is, if you guys look at the trade chat, this is the Canadian dollar $20 bill on top, and then underneath it you have the New Zealand $20 bill.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so the joke is they're like, all right, you can copy, but make sure it doesn't look identical.
Because the queen on the New Zealand bill, she looks very evil in that photo. Like evil.
Let's see.
Yeah, so
Okay.
New Zealand, those fuckers, they had no imagination, so they ripped it off
Literally
one to
just
one.
ripped it off. Yeah, totally.
Let's see. The last housing crash, I could see the market drop in Las Vegas, then St. George, Utah. So I saw it coming out of staters, California, New York, where I live. Utah is driving up the price for housing. Yeah, we almost moved out to Utah. Like funny enough, from Florida. Like, okay, to be fair, here's the funny story, and my team knows I love living in Florida because I get the beach. I have a beautiful beach very close by, and so it was like 110 with a 90% humidity. It was miserable. I was like, where is there snow? Where is there coldness? Because I want to go and find out where there's actually something cold. And so we actually looked at Utah. It seemed gorgeous. So maybe I'll come visit sometime.
Really nice words.
So yeah, Utah, of all places.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have any questions? Anybody that wants to talk?
Informed.
Yes, what's been going on since I've been gone?
Monk!
Just kidding.
How
Wow.
are you?
How's it going, buddy?
Just stopping fires and starting fires. The fun part is actually starting them. And it's all legal, by the way, if anyone's out there. I'm not starting. I'm not an arson. It's all prescribed burns.
He's not an arsonist, we swear.
Yeah,
No.
he's a true forest fighter.
But, yeah, I don't...
We gotta
I don't
catch
know
you
what-
up, bro. We gotta catch you up, so we gotta talk
Yeah.
after,
Yeah,
after this. We'll pull you
you're-
in.
You've been gone
like
for far
light-
too long.
Yeah, you're like light years behind right now.
So to put it in perspective, you're working on Atari, and I think we just hit PS4. So,
Oh, I'm on the 5.
well, you
Good.
know,
You guys haven't reached number 5 yet.
Yes.
That's all.
No, I 5's too rich for my blood right now. You know.
So I do have one question. This is just a theory of mine. I think we talked about it in the past, but this isn't like to scare anyone, but just to be aware. Do you guys think that it is possible for them to actually start collapse before the squeeze even happens?
Yeah,
it's possible.
It is possible, but the funny thing is, Monk, is that if, say, there is a market collapse, and then that basically equals liquidity issues, and then there's margin calls, right? And then essentially there could be a mooning based on those margin calls, and for them forcing to cover their position. So it could be kind of that's the way I'm seeing it, at least. Don't get me wrong, it could be a market collapse, but then there's a massive liquidity issue within the funds and the banks and whatnot, and that's where banks will start margin calling all their clients that they've lent money out to, right?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Right. So that technically, like, the collapse of the market, in a sense, could actually throw this off. And, like, was it the Fed talked with Congress today, and they basically said they're going to continue printing money. I honestly think they're very aware of this meme stock situation, and they realize, like, if there is margin calls and liquidity issues happen, that this could, like, it's essentially implode the market. I honestly think that they're kicking the can down the road a little bit here and trying to figure out what they can do with the bunch of apes, to be honest with you. That's just a hypothetical theory of mine. I actually have no sound thing, but it's always good to have a tinfoil hat once in a while.
Yeah, it's I've just been out of the loop, so I'm just throwing out questions that I have.
No,
So
for sure.
it's good.
Away.
And I noticed the crypto market. Like I literally got back the other day. I'm barely looking at the market again.
Yeah, China banned mining and crypto wallets and stuff and exchanges. So you saw a huge sell-off, massive sell-off. It continued.
So
Down
it wasn't just Elon Musk tweets.
well, that had probably a part of it as well too, right? I couldn't imagine having that type of power that one tweet can shift billions of dollars in a market.
It's just wrong. Like,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
what if we all get to that point, like, 5-10 years down the road, and be like, oh yeah,
I would never want to be that famous.
buckle up.
Yeah, I just wouldn't, to be honest with you. I enjoy going to a restaurant and not being bothered.
True.
One tweet to rule them all.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I personally think that if he's able to influence the market like that, it's almost like, I mean, it's technically not market manipulation in terms of legal status because crypto. But damn, he's able to influence, not like he's not the cause of it, but definitely has influence in it. And it's kind of
Well,
sucks.
for sure. Like, it was what last week, his tweet regarding the Bitcoin and the sustainability and the energy practices and like Tesla, not using it as a payment system. That directly, like, there's like a $10,000 drop in Bitcoin when he tweeted that. And that was kind of like the onset, and then there's the Chinese news as well too. So yeah, very interesting what's going on right now. And I think there's some articles floating around out there about crypto margin calls and whatnot. Like, it could be some institutions from this side of things when it comes to margin call, but a lot of crypto exchanges, including like Gate.io, I think Bittrex and a few other of them, they actually provide margin accounts and margin trading. Right, so when you see a massive decline in crypto value right now, there would be evidently margin calls and accounts to maintain liquidity within the exchange. So they're probably referring to those types of margin calls and not per se institutional margin calls on this side of the pond. So just wanted to put that out there.
And wasn't Bittrex? Is that what it's called? Bittrex
Bittrex or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't there something going on with him?
I think they're being investigated, if someone correct me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I heard. Yeah, that's what I read. I saw an article, or like the headline said they were being investigated, but I don't know for what. If anyone in the audience would like to link, I would love to read it. But is there any updates on the DTCC? Like, are we still waiting for? Because the last time I remember was the 005, and I think it got extended or something.
There's a lot of rules have been approved. I've read through some of them. I think Shark Bait, if he wants to hop in here, he might be able to give you a little bit more detailed update on them and whatnot, and we can kind of go through them if you want. Chris, you there?
Shark Bait, hoo-ha-ha.
Okay.
It's okay. He's probably eating or something.
For sure.
All right. Do we have any other questions over the infinite loop stuff or anything that we've talked about so far?
Infinite loop. So like the infinite loop is still there?
Oh God, yeah.
Like, oh, nice.
While you guys are talking, I'm looking into this Morgan Stanley thing. Alright, I gotta find it again. Alright. So yeah, if you wanted to, you can.
Really?
Yeah. No, we've talked about inverses.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay. So okay. Bonk's been away. He does not quite understand, guys, yet that we are kind of blowing the lid off of everything at this point.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. everything we've been working on since
You have been
January.
gone a while.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So, have you guys
First of all,
found out?
can you stop eating before you start
Oh yeah,
talking?
sorry.
We
I'm
are-
so
Show
sorry.
some manners.
we
Yeah,
are-
show some manners, dude.
We are broadcasting this live, so
I'm so
I
sorry.
can't quite edit that out.
Okay. Okay. I'm not eating anymore. So, sorry. I didn't know this was broadcasting. So one of your guys is, have you guys looked at SRS, the Pro Shares Ultra Short Real Estate Inverse ETF?
I think a while back.
SDS?
SRS.
SRS,
for
that's
new-
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I heard you guys talk about the housing bubble, and I wonder. Obviously, I think it's a good opportunity to. God, I dislike saying this, but to make money off of the inevitable.
Yeah. I do. Are most of our listeners like familiar with inverse ETFs at all?
Okay,
Or
hold on before we dive into that. So actually, this is a very, very substantial thing that Morgan Stanley did. I am going to retract my statement. They actually now hold less shares of Vanguard than they did back in November. So in November of last year, making sure I say this right. The effective date was September, but the file date was in November. So last year they had 257,542 shares. December file date was February. It was 1,986,356 shares. They are down to, and it took place. The effective date was 3/31. So March 31st, it took effect on May 17th. They are down to 227,325 shares. So, yeah, they sold a lot. They sold a lot off. Average price. I mean, they made a killing because they bought in when it was 139.60 and they sold it at 168.27. So they made a good amount. They made a good chunk.
Yeah. Turn.
So yeah, this is huge, guys. This is actually, I'm gonna have to put this in the DD. So yeah, this is why we do this, guys. This is why we fact check ourselves and always check records and everything, because it's always changing. So yeah, this is me calling out that this is cool. So they cashed out. Okay, you can continue with your inverses. I don't know what they're seeing, guys. I really don't.
No, but like to kind of continue what you were saying. Like, does that mean that I don't know exactly what that means.
I think they're getting ready to put that money somewhere. I think we're starting to see them these institutions liquidating their assets. They saw it coming. Because they did this back in December. The file date was in February. And so...
They bought it at $139.
Yeah, they bought it at $139.
At the end of the first quarter, this stock, the VRTX, was sitting at averaging around the first quarter.
Right, the average their average share price that they sold it for, because they sold it March 31st, the effective date, was $168.27. Or maybe that's what their share price is.
No, that's the average now.
Okay, that's right. I'm reading it wrong.
So this average was around $320 to $350. So they made $200 per share.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, they made a shit ton of money on this.
Okay.
So much money.
Doomman7 also says, do you feel like Michael Burry sometimes in the short film when it comes to financial bubbles, when you try to tell someone that a market crash is coming, they look at you like you're a conspiracy nut?
Every day. Every day, guys. Between Michael Burry and Charlie on Always Sunny, those are my two spirit animals at this point.
Oh, you're like the scene from Always Sunny where he's like calculating that in the board and like piecing everything together.
100%.
Put it this way. I was telling my wife about this. You know, we were researching this for a long time before we wanted to come public and talk to you guys about all this. We wanted to make sure that we were right on the kind of the right track. And I told my wife about this like 2 months ago, and she thought I was absolutely crazy.
Then she had to come talk to us. And then she was like, exactly. Okay, maybe you're not 100% crazy, but now you're all crazy. So
yeah, exactly. At least there's a group of crazies here. Yeah.
Eventually a grain of truth is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So this VRTX also, I just thought about it more. This is that bond thing that we were talking about, performance of VRTX.
Yeah.
Remember the index, the S&P 500 index, and then this is the Russell index, and so the connection is coming from there.
Yep. 100%.
Where they're basically cashing out their long-term bonds.
Yeah, this is what I thought would happen, is that they're trying to get liquidity, and I mean, what better way to get liquidity when everything is getting ready to go up before a crash, like and then that way you can just FOMO your money back into whatever happens, right? I'm so happy I stumbled across this Discord. I feel at home. You guys are speaking my financial soul. Aw, welcome, dude, man. I'm glad you're here.
I like your icon avatar. I was gonna say, but also too, if they have the liquidity, they can actually short the market or have put positions on the write down, or again use inverse ETFs as well too, right? So. And
there's the counterpart to me, guys. my optimistic side, and he's like, "No, Kenna, here's your checkpoint."
well, technically you could no, but it is optimistic too, because if it's not just institutions that can do this, guys. Like the retail investor, us apes, like. We can take advantage of a downturn in the market to grow our wealth, where people could be losing their wealth, right? These guys use the market to your advantage. Why can't you? And you actually can, right? So I always recommend, look into inverse ETFs. There's ProShares is a big company. They're the most popular. You can basically going long, so buying a share of one of these inverse ETFs will give you a long position in actually shorting the particular index, the sector such as real estate, treasury bills. There's a whole bunch. But before you jump into them, please read the fine print, read what you're getting into. Some of them are volatility ETFs where it's a 1.5 up to a 3 times leverage volatility. If say for instance you go into UVXY, which is a 1.5, and the SPY shoots up, which is what it follows, you can lose a lot of money pretty quick. So you got to be pretty sure when to enter and when to exit those ETFs as well too. So but take a peek, ProShares, and then you can kind of see what you can do on a downturn of a market.
Very well said.
Thanks. Thank you.
So yeah, we do discuss, because he was asking if we discuss inverses and stuff. Like, yeah, we're not holding much back anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of needs to know what's going on, and this is kind of what we've been preparing for, guys. Like you basically gathered a few people, and we all saw the same pattern, and we had to dive into it to make sure we were not completely crazy and seeing the worst side of the world. And this is why, we're trying to stay about a 6 month ahead of what's going on. Like, that's our goal, right? And that's kind of how we were able to, find the information and the data and kind of start finding the tracking points of what we're seeing and things, and basically being ahead. So like we can kind of, in a sense, see, say, okay, this might happen. We could be totally wrong. It's not financial advice. It's not any of that. It's just our prediction based on historical data, what we've read, what we've seen, and trends that we've always seen. And so whenever we look at that kind of information, we can kind of say, okay, they're probably going to do this. Kind of like the crypto thing, what we're seeing right now. February, Monk? Is that about right? lady? Anybody? About February, I said there's possibly going to be a crypto crash. Don't get me wrong. There's probably a whole heck of a lot more reasons we're seeing that crypto crash, but I do have a feeling it's kind of playing into a lot of this. So, you know, and I'm also saying watch tech, watch those stocks, watch anything, because there is a tech bubble too. So,
There's bubbles everywhere.
it's just bubble wrap. I'm gonna make a GIF or something of just bubble wrap.
Or like a bubble gun, one of those bubble machine gun things.
You get a
Firing
bubble.
off
You
bubbles.
get a bubble.
Yeah, everybody gets a bubble. And then the bigger, you know, that the big string bubble maker, and that one would be the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
See if anybody has questions. Dubin did make a comment. The retail investor is such a new and powerful group that the hedge funds can't wrap their head around how the group can work together in one voice. This is true.
100% true. They're algorithms, and if Chris is here, Shark, he's a data analyst, and he's worked with AI and data sets, and pretty sure you confirm this. Actually heard this from him, is that they have algorithms set to how the market traditionally works. So they can have algorithm in their high frequency trading to make the appropriate trades, know when to go long or when to have a call. And the ape, the retail investor, has basically put years and years of algorithmic work completely out the window in an instant, and it's pretty cool.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to kind of chime in on it.
Thank you.
So basically this, right? If you start digging through who's kind of building out these kinds of models over at Citadel, for example, you start encountering some pretty smart people, like people who have like really high level accolades in the statistical world. And so, like these are kind of like the parallels to like getting like the Nobel Peace Prize, but in like mathematics or statistics. Like these are really smart people, right? Now, the problem with academia typically when it comes down to things like machine learning and trying to make predictions and like things like algorithmic trading is that academia falls in love with the tools, but not the solution, right? And there's a good reason for it. It's because the tool is going to be, this perfect little thing that you put together that works really, really well in testing. But the moment you put it on the real world, the solution doesn't look so great anymore, right? It's not. It was good enough to publish in the paper, but not good enough to put into practice out in the real world. So we started seeing a lot of this, right? And one of the major aspects of machine learning in general, like AI in general, is that it requires something called a training set, right? So think of a machine learning model as like a really hyperactive 5-year-old, right? So like this kid can get a lot of things done, but doesn't really know too much. And so basically an AI, unless they've been trained properly, are totally misguided, right? Like they're giving you incorrect guesses at whatever you've taught them. So it's kind of like showing or convincing your AI model being like, all right, I'm showing you pictures, like, a million pictures of the color blue. And so that way, from here on out, you're going to know that if I show you any sort of blue object, you're going to know that's the color blue. But if, let's say, you instead have given it a training set that had it was only like 25% blue pictures, and the rest were all multicolored, right? Effectively, your model actually doesn't know what the color blue is. Like, you've given it incorrect information. So the reason I'm saying all this, right, to kind of pull this all back together, is that effectively what Citadel has done is that they've trained a model that was based off of data that was during or pre-COVID-19. And in a panic, they had to then retrain models with new data because of how ape behavior has changed so drastically. Well, retail behavior in general has changed so drastically during the era of COVID that what they had built and used to train their previous models, which was like decades worth of data, is no longer worth a single thing, right? So now they're dealing with a lot smaller training set and making a lot more assumptions. And this has put them into some pretty hot water, as we have seen.
I guess that makes sense as why certain times during the day Citadel's super busy on Google Maps.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. They must have been scrambling. I would hate to be in that division of the company there at this time.
And that's the thing, right? So like each time, right, that you point out, for example, they're like, hey, I think that the algorithms are buying at like 11 a.m. every single day. And some people have noticed that you can kind of eyeball some of these patterns that come up because the algorithms are pretty habitual, right? Like they'll repeat certain patterns over and over and over again. And the moment you point this stuff out is when their data science teams and like machine learning engineering teams are freaking the fuck out, right? Because they're going to the drawing board and they're like, all right, rejig the calculation, rejig the formula a little bit so that the behavior changes ever so slightly. And the funny part is that every time they do that, they run into an opportunity to screw it up even further, right? Because they're now dealing with smaller and smaller and smaller data sets and having to make more and more assumptions as they go on. So the best thing that retail can do is try to diminish any volume of data they're actually getting. So like, for example, I had noticed like there was a really smart idea that I had saw back in the Wall Street Bets, is that they figured out that Wall Street Bets was getting scraped for data, which it is. That's exactly how it works. So like same thing with Twitter, same thing with everything. Like you best believe that if you make reference to any stock or you make reference to AMC, I almost bet you anything that your tweet is getting scraped by an algorithm and is being thrown up into a sentiment analysis, right? They're trying to gauge like where is retail at and how are they feeling about things, right? So they call that a sentiment analysis. They're like, is morale high? Is morale low? Things like that. And eventually, what people had realized on Wall Street Bets is they're like, hey, if they're scraping us here, right, and their algorithms are making decisions off of what we're saying, what if we just start throwing it fake information, right? And so you had a whole bunch of people just randomly spewing random stock tickers, and they would kind of do this in a coordinated way, right? Where they'd be like, like it'd be like Best Buy, right? They're like $Best Buy, $Best Buy, $Best Buy, and they did that en masse. And surely enough, you would see the Best Buy stock slowly going up, right? To try to get ahead of it. And then obviously they realized that they were getting screwed with, so they had to go back to the drawing board and fix it. So yeah, some really funny things, guys. Like it's not people. Like you're not what we're all competing against is not a human being. There isn't like a single person who's choosing to buy. It's all algorithmic trading, right? It's all the high frequency trading that's taking place.
That was well said.
Thank you.
Is there any more questions from our group or anything you want to cover? Well done. 100%.
So I see that AMC Kingdom wants to speak, so I'll just shoot him an invite.
Sweet.
Hey, what's going on, AMC Kingdom?
Yeah, I had a question about the algos. Are they going to make changes on that, or is that always going to be the same?
In what way?
As far as being able to manipulate the market with the algos?
Yeah, so like these guys are gonna roll their eyes because I feel like this comes up so often, but ultimately they're always going to be able to manipulate prices, in my opinion, mostly because of how much endless liquidity they can really print, right? So once again, we kind of get into this conversation of rehypothecation, right? And so this is the major concern, is that we've got two endless supplies of kind of like warring factions here, right? So we've got from the hedge fund side of things, is that they're able to rehypothecate assets to endlessly go and print shares, right? So they can do this for as long as they need. And on the opposite end, you also have the treasury, like the Fed, consistently printing cash. right? So increasing inflation. And so these are infinite values, and the only way that it really stops, right? And we had seen a couple different guests on the Superstonk AMA, like the Dr. Trimbaths of the world, kind of allude to the fact that the only way that this ever really stops is when they finally get put into some sort of legal action, or flat out the company just goes bankrupt, right? Like once they've kind of set their eye on destroying a company, they're usually successful. And historically it's worked. I mean, it's worked for 2 decades. This isn't really a new concept. And so the algos, yeah, I mean, they train them to break the law, right? And so it is going to take some sort of legal intervention at some point from the DTCC and SEC, more importantly.
What's even more alarming with the high frequency trading too is like, you guys can look at the L2 order book and you'll see increment pennies there, but you don't realize is that those are stacked based on average how close it is to penny. There's literally fractional penny orders within that. And they can make it like, say 1349, 001, 002, 00 after the last penny in fractional pennies, and they can stack up the order book and manipulate order books and literally get the best price possible as well too, that way.
Is that the barcoding?
They can do that for barcoding as well, stacking them up like that. Yeah.
I think honestly, Tears, that's a really good point, because what a lot of people don't realize is that these little small incremental kind of like, we'll say, jumps in price where they're able to like break it down to like fractions of a cent is something they have the ability to do, but you do not, right? So like it's the game's rigged against you just from that perspective alone.
Yeah.
But it adds up.
I was kind of hoping with all the rule changes that that was going to be a part of it at some point.
Yeah, and that's where Dave Lauer, he was on the AMA with Wes Christian, and he's had his own AMA on Superstonk as well too. He's huge on market transparency and then best price execution for the retail investor. He's huge on that, and he's really pushing for that. So I hope he can. He's kind of the frontward facing man or guy behind that. So I hope that he will make proactive change there as well too. He sits on the chair on the board of the Neo Aquas Exchange here in Canada. So he's very versed in things, and he's all about better and fair markets for the retail investor. So let's hope he can get something done.
Who is that?
Excuse me, sorry, Dave Lauer. If you go to the Superstonk subreddit, literally the most recent AMA's there, and he's the guy with the glasses, the younger gentleman with the glasses and beard, on the AMA.
Definitely follow him on Twitter.
Follow him on
he's a good one
Twitter.
to follow.
Yeah, and he's active even on Superstonk as well too. Like he has his own Reddit profile, and he'll make comments and answer questions for people as well too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe from like the printing of by the Citadel and the printing of the Federal Reserve, I'm hoping that once this all collapses, that maybe we'll go back to the way it was before the Feds. Because I feel like that's the only change that can really come out of this, is that realizing, oh yeah, this now we really can't do anything about printing again because of what's going to happen. It's the printing that actually is causing this. So my hope is to see that type of change where we go back to removing
gold standard.
Almost like, I wouldn't even think it's going to be a gold standard. I think it'll be something different, but at least getting rid of the Federal Reserve somehow, or some sort of change with the printing. Yeah,
that could be, this crash, whatever, could be the catalyst again. What Gary Gensler's talking about creating, a digital currency for the United States, right? And if you have a digital currency, then you really don't per se need the Federal Reserve anymore.
I do want to acknowledge one of our YouTubers' comments. So while Sharkbait was talking, first time here, I effing love you already, dude. Keep it up.
Sweet.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, guys, if you don't know Sharkbait, he has some his name in here is actually his username, obviously on Reddit. If you go on there, he has some phenomenal DD and really eye-opening data sets to go through if you guys want to get your brain wrinkled.
Oh man, so I do actually credit Sharkbait. Sharkbait, I wonder.
Yeah.
Here is a
Wonder
funny.
away.
Here is a funny question. Do you remember a certain message on Reddit about a mind map?
Actually, maybe, yes.
Yes, I reached out to you about a month before you joined the Twitter Spaces. I was like, "Hey, I have something you might want to look at. Can we get together?"
Did you actually?
I did, and he blew me off.
I will
No.
neither confirm
No.
nor deny this claim.
I'd actually just pulled it up. Like I was looking, I had some messages, and I was like, "Oh yeah," because I wanted
What's
to
your
run
name on Reddit again?
It's Dragon Media.
Shame on you.
No, it was no. Hell yeah, I'll check him out. No, you really do. Heat Inferno.
Oh yeah.
Check out his chaos theory. Like it's actually, I have to credit Sharkbait. Like it's why I wanted to run it past him, before he actually joined our team, and because he inspired it. Like it was something in his chaos theory that was just like, hey, idiot, here's your missing piece, and it was phenomenal. And like you can ask the rest of the guys. Like I went 3-4 days easy, like just not sleeping, trying to put all this together, and I was done. I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed. And so yeah,
Honestly though, kind of like you did your own legwork there. I'm happy. I can't take all the credit for what you put together though. That's the thing.
Oh no,
Like you ended up taking a completely different direction with it, and a lot further than I think I went. So
I just say I credit you because it literally was that missing piece. But no, you guys really need to check his stuff out. Like I mean, we do have a lot of people. Tears or Sweat, he has posts. I'm not sure if Indian guys posted anything. He does post.
Yeah.
He never
That
tells
sounds
me.
like your.
He
That
never.
sounds like your. That sounds like your dentist story. You went a lot further than him.
Oh my gosh, yeah. My dentist is a unlikely source of information. That is so funny. But yeah.
So I wonder if it'd be a good time to plug so one of the classes that I was planning to host for tomorrow.
100%.
In regards to one of these chaos theory posts, and more specifically, the LIBOR to SOFR transition, which might sound like total nonsense to some people here, but tomorrow there's going to be another informational thing that we'll be putting together here to kind of go into a little bit more detail as to some of those posts that I have on my account there. So once again, if you go to Reddit and you look at my profile, and you see all those chaos theory posts in there, those are the ones that I'm going to be going through tomorrow in a little bit more detail. And specifically how this LIBOR to SOFR transition is something that's quite important to know, and how it's going to change things in the long term here. It's kind of like, we'll say like the timer, right? Like it's the final timer on all of it, by which this entire fiasco can't go past. Kind of like the doomsday clock, so to speak. So, hopefully I'll see you guys here tomorrow.
For sure. And for everyone on YouTube, guys, you are more than welcome to join the Discord. It is open invites and everything. It's where we are able to interact with our community the most, and you guys can sit in with it's basically a live audience, and interact with us that way as well. I definitely would love to see you guys all there. The classroom stages, it's kind of set up as our podcast is right now, but it is up in the classroom, so you guys can definitely come in and ask questions verbally, or you can type it if you don't feel like talking. But it definitely helps facilitate who's talking and who has permission to talk, so it helps with a lot of that. Do we have any other questions, guys? We've covered a lot today in a very short amount of time. In and out as I'm working, but great stuff. Thanks, KMO. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, and like it's a lot to intake, guys. And even if like there's no stupid question, right? There could be like new traders out there, and we were all there once too. So like I said, there's no stupid question if you guys have any question
Guys,
whatsoever.
I still ask stupid questions. Let's be real.
No, you don't. Sometimes.
I mean, come on. I'm still trying to figure out this whole like Fintel, who has what and who's on first thing. So there's no stupid question. Like for me, you know, I have, so for those that don't know me, Kenna, I have been in the market about 10 years, but I don't have experience in shorting people. Like this has been a very, very, very fast track learning experience since January. I don't sleep usually. I've only started sleeping in the last like month. I won't lie. Anyone that's been with me since like the end of January, early February, Monk, Lady, Tears, all of them, I was sleeping like 4 hours a night. And I was just me researching and learning and trying to be able to be like one of the people that can guide y'all through this. And yes, I said y'all, I live in Florida. I'm allowed. I don't want any critiques over that. But anyway, I have been learning very, very quickly just so that I can try to help you guys out. So I might get something wrong. I might misspeak, and I do apologize, but I don't think for a second I am not too big of a person to say when I'm wrong. So I do want you guys to know that. If I find something that I have said wrong or anything, I will admit it, and I will correct myself.
You know,
sorry,
sorry,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there's just a question in chat regarding they posted a Twitter, I guess, tweet regarding the OCC Rule 004. I can comment on it. I read through it. It is a new rule change, so if there is a member that is liquidated, and their portfolio will be up for auction easier. So other members can actually bid on their portfolio, I'm assuming obviously at a discounted rate, and take over their portfolio. Rule changes include non-members. There used to be kind of like a long administrative process and like sponsorship to get a non-member into the basically auction. This rule kind of eliminates that administrative process, so non-members can actually bid on the liquidated member portfolio as well too. So it streamlined the process. Their reasoning behind it is that it'll create more competition and provide better price points within the auction, and then also to streamline the process to make it go quicker. So that's kind of the gist of it, if you want it per se in layman's terms.
It's also worth noting that one particular non-member, which is BlackRock, might be especially interested in this ruling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, like as well too, these are rules that the SEC approves, but again, these are rules that are enforced and executed by the OCC itself. And also keep in mind, to be very, again, more transparent, guys, that there is a legal counsel of Citadel that does sit on the OCC board.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question.
That seems like a conflict of interest.
No, finance is conflict of interest. Man,
let's not go down that rabbit hole.
No.
What were you gonna say, King?
Yeah, I came in late. I was just wondering if you guys had brought up or talked about Tom.
What regarding Tom in particular?
Well, has anybody talked to him or anything to see how he was doing? I know that Tara, in her Twitter Spaces, was trying to get him to come on, and I ended up getting off her chat, so I didn't know if anybody had found out how he was feeling or anything.
I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him. I hope he's feeling better. I was aware that he wasn't feeling well, but he hasn't reached out to him, and I haven't talked to him. It's been a while. I'm not that close with him because I only maybe interact with him a few times. So I hope he's doing well though.
Okay, thanks, guys.
So the only other thing I wanted to add, kind of going on Kenna's earlier point, is that there's a reason why you don't see any one of us on our own up here talking to all of you guys, and there's a good reason for it. Is that we've got a nice amalgamation of different kinds of people here who have different expertise in different areas of all this. And the thing is that what's going on right now has so many different facets to it that it's hard for one person to wrap their head around all of it. Everything from the filings all the way to the algorithmic trading to the actual technical analysis of the stocks themselves. It's too much,
The legal
right?
jargon.
Yeah, the legal jargon. Like, good luck
Yeah.
going through everything.
I don't even think all
on
of
your
us
own.
can figure that out at this point.
No, for sure. And that's why companies like Citadel and BlackRock literally have thousands of junior analysts, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So to kind of give you guys a little bit insight of like how the cake is made, typically when we see these kinds of filings go through, everybody you see here, we go into Discord and we discuss amongst ourselves. We go through the document and try to point out key paragraphs of interest that might be showcasing what's actually taking place, and we discuss, right? Because there's a lot to cover, and every single person kind of comes away with a different understanding, and so it takes a little bit of discussion to finally finalize an opinion or thought on the matter.
That was very well said. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's true.
We challenge each other too.
100%.
That's right, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Like I will say, Sharkbait has helping with the optimistic side of me. When I'm like, yes, this works, and he's like, yeah, I agree, and I'm like, yes, I finally have someone to agree with me, and we do get teamed down pretty quick. Like they're like, no, guys, settle down. This isn't good, and we're like, no, it's good. Just leave it alone, And that's the other thing, guys. You guys have to notice is that we are not an echo chamber within ourselves. Like we do not sit here and beef each other up and say, yeah, we're going to this. Like we really do have 20 different perspectives of the same thing, and we all come from different walks of life so that we can see every scenario possible, and so therefore I guess my point is like you won't get an echo chamber from us at all. If we see something, that means you have at least 10 brains looking at it, 10 different perspectives, almost 10 different places around the world, actually, really trying to understand what we're reading. So it's the most raw information and raw perspective that you'll get, I think.
For sure. And I'd like to add to that is that, and we're also not like a hype train group. We're not going to cherry pick particular information and create kind of a positive FUD for the movement. Like if there's something that could adversely affect a position in any of these meme stocks or in the market as a whole, we're going to be transparent with you and talk to you about it. We're not just going to keep hyping this up for views or subscribers or anything like that. It's not what it's about. It's to educate ourselves and then also educate you guys at the same time so we can all come to a decision to protect our money and protect our investment in this volatile market right now. Right.
Like even just today alone, I mean, tears. I mean, how many times did we flip flop being like, dude, I think we might be in big trouble. But like, hang on, but there's this other information that maybe suggests that we're not in big trouble. But wait a minute, maybe we are in big trouble. Right?
Yeah,
So like maybe
Definitely
none of this happens. Maybe the entire economy just bankrupts. So like, what if we're just screwed, right? And then thankfully we kind of start digging a little bit further, and we're like, okay, maybe this does have sense of some kind.
Totally.
But
I'm really
this
sad
happens
I've
multiple
missed
times a
that.
day. Oh yeah.
We're still working on that one. We're still trying to figure it out. My brain
That's a
hurts thinking about
big
it.
implication. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, guys, like, like I said before, and I think I don't know if my opinion on this is going to waver much. Is that I think that the legal intervention is important. I think if the game is allowed to continue the way that it's gone on so far, where the rehypothecation issue is alive and well, and the Fed is printing money endlessly, we're going to encounter a really long run at all of this, right? That's my only concern. That's kind of what we were debating today. Is like, is there any logic to all of it? But that's something that we're still working on. So let us take that away and have an answer for you guys over the next couple days.
Sure.
There might be a game or strategy here that's being played out that we just don't understand yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen here.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that you have like 20 different filings and all these different congressional hearings that are coming up, and like you just have to piece it all together, and it's like, all right, how does this all fit together? Like how does 004 affect 007, and like do the two interact? It's like, yeah, it's a mess, but there will obviously be a benefit if we do figure it out. So
Questions?
Do we have any? I do have Heat Inferno that's trying to figure out Discord at the moment, so I'm gonna get him the link real quick.
Sure.
And we'll try to get him in here.
Great.
So one random point while we're getting that set up. So there was a congressional hearing that took place today, actually, that had a lot of relevant information. It was a little bit long. It was like 4 hours. I managed to kind of stay focused for about 2.5. It just kind of got dry in some parts of it. But one of the major points there that I kind of picked up along the way is that surprisingly, majority of the Congress people actually had some pretty large concerns regards to everything, including like the lumber cost increases, which anybody here who's around the housing market or in construction, I don't need to tell you guys about that. You guys already know what's going on. As well as the housing market, which Ken kind of alluded to earlier. The promising thing is that all the Congress people see that happening, and they're concerned, right? Because if people are unhappy, they're not going to vote them back in. So they're making it a priority. The only concerning part that does come up out of a congressional hearing like that is that they're asking the Fed these questions as to how is this all going to get adjusted? How is this going to be fixed? And how much longer are we supposed to keep expecting to see more inflation take place? And that's kind of where the shadiness comes in. So, we'll let you guys know what the outcome of all that's going to be, or as much of an educated guess as we can make.
Yay, he found us. He was able to get in. Cool. All right, guys. So do we have any other questions? I didn't know if Heat Inferno wanted to ask his own question or... And anybody that has joined as well from YouTube, welcome. I do want to say that. I'm glad you guys could join us. And I actually really look forward to doing these. I do think we have another one set up for Friday. More information about that will come up here shortly. A familiar face will probably be in with us. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
We also have some, we're working on some pretty big guest speakers in here as well too, and they're coming down the pipeline hopefully June. Can't name names yet, but once we confirm that and firm all the normal stuff up to book people, we'll announce that and hype that up. We're pretty excited about it, and I hope you guys will be too.
All right, guys, I think this will conclude our podcast. I appreciate everyone coming out, hanging out, asking questions, being a part of it. This is your guys' community. We're just here to help guide you through it. For those that know, you know what I'm about to say, and those that don't, we are here for AMC and GME, but that is not our sole purpose. We are here to get you guys through the whole market, everything that's about to happen. We're not going anywhere. Once AMC and GME are done, we're just getting started. That's just kind of the kickoff, right? So I really hope you guys can join us for the rest of our podcasts that we do. We will have a set up schedule here soon. We are coordinating many different time zones at this point. So it's going to be interesting. I do know at pre-market, First Strike will be hosting his podcast and everything for you guys, and he does a great job covering pre-market for us. Because all of us are basically crawling in bed when pre-market opens. So let's face that fact.
Especially on the West Coast here.
Oh my God, it's so sad. It's bad right now. But he is definitely owning it for pre-market, and you guys just definitely need to go and give him a follow. He is on our channels page as one of our team streams, so definitely watch him.
And one thing too is I would like just an idea too is like I think we should do maybe a podcast in the coming weeks of what to do with tendies, and you know, not full financial advice, but how to use your money after buying your Lambo. I wouldn't suggest buying a Lambo, but you know, I can't stop people from personal purchases, but you know what to do to grow your money after you actually get a sum of money, and how to protect it and make it grow as well too.
Yep. And don't ever hesitate to come in here and ask us questions. Like if you see something kind of funny on Reddit, on Twitter, on whatever, come in here, guys. Post it up, tag the staff, and say, hey, what do you think about this? And we'll give you our honest opinion. Like we're here for you guys. Yeah. And don't hesitate to use the voice chats in here. Don't hesitate to use the regular chats in here. This is for you guys. You don't have to use, just use it when we're in here. Because usually we're either at a regular job or doing DD or sleeping whenever we do decide to do that. So utilize it to the fullest extent. If you guys find something cool and we end up using in DD that we spout out or anything, like you'll probably be on the podcast or at least get some recognition for it. That's just how we are. So that's all I have, guys. Staff?
That was great. I had fun. These are fun.
Yeah.
Thanks guys for coming and listening.
Thank you guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Hopefully you guys learned something, and we're excited for the next one.
Bye.
Everybody.
Good night.